couple knee-friendly and also 2 toe-friendly exercises instead of lunges. So with these exercises here, I'm going to give you a few options. We'll go over first options that will mimic what the stimulus from a lunge would be, and doing exercises that might be a little bit more comfortable, a little bit less knee dominant, and also to take some loading out of the toe when you're stepping back and going into flexion with that toe. So with that, my first exercise, probably my favorite exercise, would be either to have a riser or a bench, and then from here, you just have one foot down, a little bend in it, nothing too crazy, and then you're gonna sit back, and about 60 to 70% of your weight is in that one leg, and then from here, you drive up. Very much so like a lunge. The more weight I put into this one side, sort of the less pressure I'm gonna have on that other side. And then to load it up, what you can do also is have that weight here and load, and then come down, and then drive up as you go. The more challenging option to this, so let's say you were to see dumbbell back lunges, and my goal in the beginning of a program or beginning of an exercise is a heavy dumbbell back lunge. If you have the stability, the support, you might need a riser or a bench that's a little bit higher. You can also take that foot off the floor and sit back, and then from here drive up. Very similar to a lunge, but there's no stepping back. And the nice thing with having the riser behind you is it really gets you to sit back into that single leg squat. So a very good knee-friendly variation as well. Another good option is side-to-side squat. So again, with these exercises, we're trying to load the quads up like we would in a lunge, but just take some pressure off of that knee or that toe. So with a side-to-side squat, you can step out to one side. So you're just coming down and then popping back up, coming down, popping back up. Same thing, you could load with a dumbbell, up, down, and again, much like this exercise here, you're gonna put about 60 to 70% of your weight on that one side. And then with that, might be a little less knee dominant. Just make sure you sit back so it'll feel okay. And then with any of these variations, some of the important things to note are big toe stays down. You want to try and get VMO to activate as best as possible. And then you would also have side lunges as well. Those might be a little bit harder on the knees, but if toes are the issue, side lunges can work really, really well too. You can load up side lunges goblet. You can hold the dumbbell down like so. And then another great variation that I really like, I give this to anyone who's a runner, anyone who really needs to work on that single leg stability. What you would do is with a riser that might be just a little bit lower here, like so. You're gonna have that riser down, and you start, like typically I get clients to start with too high, and then from here. So again, a good variation if you see lunges in a program where it's meant to be a strength building lunge, not necessarily moving too quick with your lunge, where you come down and you just go a little tap and then drive up. So note this foot, toe stays up, so I tap with my heel, and then we want good alignment, foot, knee, hip, and we come down, a little tap, drive forward, little tap, drive forward. So I'm sitting back as I do so, nice and friendly for the knee. Really helps to build up that activity in VMO, help it get stronger so it will protect you in things like walking, like running, any sporting activities, but also too as you try and reincorporate lunges back into your programming. And then with this exercise, you can up the height of the riser as you go to make it more and more challenging. Upwards of 5 or 6 risers high is typically what I can get clients to, and also to holding weight in front just to load it up. And then from there, the other alternatives you have is anything that's hip dominant. So anything that's hip dominant. Now, if I get clients who are avoiding lunges and I'm going to give them hip dominant exercises as a substitute, typically it's going to be unilateral hip dominant exercise. So single leg glute bridges from the floor, awesome. Single leg hip thrusts from a bench. So just like this here. And then I'm going to drive up. 1, 2, 3, just like so. That'll be friendly on the toes, friendly on the knees as well, and then ultimately too, you can add dumbbells to it. So dumbbell single leg hip thrust, dumbbell single leg glute bridge, and then the other option too is a single leg split stance deadlifts. So from here, I just have one back, keep that foot up, not too far bent, and then from here, you're just gonna lean back, drive up, lean back. You can go body weight just like so. You can go single dumbbell, holding that dumbbell in front, leaning and then driving up, leaning and then driving up. And then also too, you can go double, so you can really load up this exercise, lean and going to drive forward, just sitting back with that good hinging position as you do so. And then also too, you have all of the bilateral variations. So we're using 2 legs, so double leg glute bridges, double leg hip thrust, RDLs, up and down like so. Really, really great alternatives for if you're having any trouble with those knees, if your big toes don't like stepping back into those lunge position. If you do choose to incorporate more of those hip dominant exercises, typically what's going to happen, you're going to work your hamstrings and glutes a little bit more. Ultimately, it is going to take some pressure off your knees, so they might become stronger. Lower back will become strong, and you might start to develop more muscle in those areas, which for the most part, when working with clients, is a good thing. So with that, if you have any questions, be sure to message me through TrainerEd's.